You guys, you want cheap FPV, and trust me, so do I. G'day, Stu from UAVfutures here, and today we're going to be checking out these. These are the SJ-RG01. I did that pretty well, but these are some cheap FPV goggles. And when I mean cheap, like some of the other ones out there, like the Sky Zones, these were like 400 bucks, some are 500 bucks. FPV goggles can be really, really expensive, and it's a big barrier of entry to get into our hobby, rip it around, and just have some fun with the FPV drones. And today, well, I'm pretty excited because what we have, it's like a dual screen, smaller, not even a box style. I guess it's sort of in between Fat Shark style and those big box style goggles. We have a budget pair of goggles that looks like it's got some massive screens to see, diversity, and could be a total game changer when it comes to getting people into the hobby. Now, big disclaimer, you know, it's kind of hard to review goggles to let you know, is this going to be the right one for you? Because when I did my on-way review, a lot of people said, Stuart, you're crazy. On-ways, they're not as good as Fat Sharks, blah, blah, blah. And, well, guess what? I've got all the goggles and I still fly with my on-ways today. So, what I'm hoping this one is, what I hope this video does, it gives you guys enough information to find out you might be wanting to get into the hobby and find out, is this the cheap pair of goggles we've been waiting for? We want cheap FPV. Is this one going to be it? Because it looks like it's got a lot of features. I mean, DVR diversity, big screen, small form factor, and crazy cheap price for like 88 bucks. I think that's what it is anyway. I'll link it down below. Anyway, what we're going to do in this video, we're going to stick it on the bench, break it down, give it a quick squeeze, take it out to the field, show you some DVR, my impressions, Trav's impressions, Cal's impressions, and find out, is this going to be the right goggle for you? And before we kick it off, I want to say too, look, I'm going to be giving this away because I've got enough goggles. I want to give this out to someone out there, so definitely go check the official rules. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, all that sort of stuff. Check the official rules. It'll be in the description down below, but I will say, please only sort of enter this contest if you don't have a pair of goggles, because it's not going to be, I don't expect them to be as good as Fat Sharks or something good. I want this to go out there to somebody who's wanting to get into the hobby, and you know, they're going to get a budget pair of goggles as a first pair of goggles. I want to give this away to one of you guys to help you guys get airborne. Anyway, those things, they're down in the description down below, all the yada yada. Let's stick it on the bench and get started with this SJ-RG01 review. I'm pretty good at that. I'm impressed. Alright, let's do it. Alrighty, here we are on the bench with the SRG01s, whatever it is, I'll link it down below. And we haven't had much luck with goggle reviews in the past on the channel now. You know, like I did, the new Sky Zones, they come out. I wasn't a very big fan of those whatsoever. And then we also did the Top Skies, which got a pretty negative review as well. And I'm telling you, this one, I'm actually feeling pretty excited, much more excited than I was for the other two. Now, that's if they work correctly. Now, remember, these are just my opinions and my findings, and everybody has different faces and different things they look for in goggles. But what I'm looking at, this is an $88 pair of goggles. I'm not going to be comparing it to some Fat Sharks or Sky Zones too much, because they're a totally different market. If you're buying this expecting to get Fat Shark quality, well, it's just not going to be there. What this is, it's aiming, and I think hopefully if it's going to do it well, I mean, if the diversity and we get the focus right, this is aiming to be a budget goggle that actually does its job, so people can have a portable pair of goggles you can fly around and just have some fun FPV action with. Anyway, what we should do as a bit of an overview, look, you get these two dodgy antennas. I'm going to throw those to the side because I'm telling you, they're pretty much rubbish. Every single pilot I know always upgrades their antennas. Now you get two little power packs, right? Not two little things, two little cords here. One for the power, one for like your audio input, output, all that sort of stuff. We'll put that to the side. But let's have a look at the good stuff. Let's have a look at the unit itself. Alrighty, so the first thing I want to do, let's stick it on the scales, tear these off, get rid of, what are we on? We need grams right there, good sir. Find out how much this thing's going to weigh. It's coming in at about 310 grams, 313 grams. What I should mention too, this has also got its battery in there, so in here, in the bottom, we'll talk about that a little bit. It's got its battery in here, but let's put the Sky Zones on there. That's coming in at about 217 grams. So, what I will say, this thing, it is going to be heavier than Fat Sharks, but it is still going to be lighter than some of the bigger box goggles out there. Now, speaking of that battery, this thing's internal battery, it's a 1S, it's a 1500 milliamp hour battery. You've got this little power adapter, so look, you can plug in a separate battery if you want to. And one really cool thing I like I've taken the battery out here, we can simply plug in our Fat Shark style batteries, so it uses the same plug, which is absolutely genius. You know, if you're going to bring a new pair of goggles into the market, make sure it's compatible with some of the other stuff that most people are using. Now, a bit of an overview around the goggle. I'm just going to put the battery back in. Hang on.
Alrighty, so you can see you've got two sliders underneath. Now we're going to be talking about these a little bit more. That's for the screen in the middle. Over this side you've got your battery plug, your earphones, which some people fly with their earphones in. We've got an AV in, AV out. I'd like that two separate ways, but to be honest, I'm not going to be complaining too much because like I mentioned, 88 bucks for cheap FPV. If it works, that's fantastic. We've got a little USB port over this side, and here we can actually record some DVR. So you put your little micro SD card in there, and we're going to flip it over to the top, and it's super simple. So we've got diversity on the front. They're RP SMA, so I'm probably going to be putting some Triumphs or something like that on that. And what I like here, look how easy this menu is, and I'm very happy to say that the menu, when you're actually clicking on the buttons in here on the screen, is super responsive. So I really, really like that. You've got your search button, your mode button, you've got your on-off switch, which is fantastic because look, not even our Fat Sharks have that. The Sky Zones had it, but I wasn't really a big fan of it the way it was implemented. And then over here, you've got band and channel. That's it. It's super easy to get this thing working. Now what we're going to do, we're going to turn it on here. Let's hold this little button, and then our goggles should come on, and you can see the screen in this thing is ridiculously big. So you simply move these parts to adjust it to your eyes, and I don't know if you guys are going to really see it in here, but the screen when you're looking through this thing, I'm just telling you from my experience, feels bigger than the Fat Shark HD V2s. That's how big this screen it is. It is an absolute monster screen. Now the resolution here, look, it says it's 960 by 240, and I'm not 100% sure how that works because look, that seems a little bit of a strange ratio to me. When you look at it in the goggles, it looks like it's 4:3, but I am going to say when you see the picture blown up, it might not look as clear as the HD V2s, but the screen is big. It's sort of like when you get some of those JPEG pictures and you really expand them. I don't think it's going to look as smooth overall, but I mean for 88 bucks, I really don't think you can complain too much. Plus, all our quads when we're flying around transmit in standard definition anyways. It's got this little strap on the back, so that part's going to go over your head so it's not too heavy, and look, that's really it quickly on the bench. It's a simple, cheap pair of goggles that's going to let people jump into FPV very, very easily. So essentially, that's our cheap pair of goggles. I mean, you're not going to be comparing these things to Fat Sharks. If you're expecting to buy a pair of Fat Sharks and you know, this is going to replace it, you're only spending like a quarter of the money. You're selling yourself short. That's not going to happen. What this is, if it performs well, if we can get good reception and good focus, because look, there is no slider back and forth, so if this doesn't fit your eyes, you know, when we're out in the field, if it's all out of whack, it's not going to be very good. But if it does work, if you can focus and the reception's good, you are definitely on to a crazy good winner, especially for the price. Plus, it is just so much more portable. It's not too much bigger than this style. It's not too much heavier, and it is going to be so much easier to transport around. Anyway, that's it on the bench. That's the boring stuff. I'm excited. I want to take this out, fly it around, see how well it goes, show you guys some DVR. We'll hand it over to Grumpy Trev as well. I'll show you my impressions, his impressions, and find out, is this the cheap goggle where we're waiting for? Is it, or is it going to be sort of cursed like some of the others and you just can't focus, or it's just got one or two things wrong with it that don't make it right? But anyway, let's jump out of the field and do that and rip it around in 3, 2, 1.
Rightio, out here in the field, about to rip it around with the SJ-RG01, whatever it is. It's linked down below, but you snappy viewers, you'll notice I've changed out the antennas, and that's because I don't know a single pilot out there who flies around with the standard stick antennas. So we're throwing those in the bin. I've got like a TBS patch and a Triumph on here. We'll see how it goes. I'll show you guys some DVR. We'll hand it over to Grumpy Trev, Crash Test Cal, get their impressions as well, and we'll find out, is this going to be a fantastic cheap goggle for people in our hobby? They want to get in, they don't want to drop 300 bucks. Is this going to be a game changer, or is it going to have some of the fatal flaws? Like, we'll have to see how the resolution goes, and we'll have to see a big one as well. How does this diversity actually work, and can you get good reception? Because look, if we can, we're definitely on to a winner, but if not, well, I guess that's one of these things that comes with these cheap, the curse of the cheap goggles. All right, let's do it, rip it around and see how she goes. All right, I'm just gonna try the search button, so we'll see how we go. And we're on 5730, so that's not the correct channel. And that's one of the things I don't like about auto searches, and all auto searching goggles do this. You need to make sure it's gonna lock onto your specific one. So just because the search stops on it, don't think, yep, that's my channel. I need to know that mine is on the correct one. So I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna go through, use the manual to F1, so in the bands, it's very quick in the menu, which is fantastic when pressing the buttons. There we go, 5740, let's fly it around, see how we go. The first thing I will say, the screen is absolutely massive, so very, very immersive. Sort of feels almost like, it feels bigger than the Fat Sharks, but not quite as clear. You can notice that resolution and I guess the sort of pixels on the screen. There's a little bit of light leakage, but we'll see how we go when we're flying around. And if we forget about that, where's the quad? I don't want to clip into myself. I might move away a little bit. Alrighty.
It might help if I picked the correct model on my radio too. I'm just going out for a bit of a range test first, and oh, no, it feels like I'm dropping out a little bit actually. I can see I got some water on my lens. Alrighty, I'm not really getting too much confidence when I'm flying around, because I feel like the reception, even with these good antennas, is going to be dropping out too much for my liking. And that lower resolution, God, I love this drone. And that lower resolution, it actually is making it a little bit difficult to fly. So I can't make things out very clearly. Even though I know this camera is in focus, because this is on the Kia drone, it's got an amazing lens, but on here, I just can't see too much, and that's because of that low resolution. Everything is very, very blocky. Yeah, that reception's scary when I'm going to go out there. It's okay up high. You know, and honestly, I think this is such a shame, because they sort of, if they could just change some resolution screens in here, it's definitely dropping out behind those bushes, but if they could change the screens in here, it would be so much better, because that's what we need. We want cheap goggles. We want cheap FPV, and unfortunately, this has the curse to the cheap goggles. It definitely needs to change the screen, because in its current state, I'm not really a fan. I was hoping it was going to replace box goggles and all that sort of stuff, because I love the form factor, I love the price, but when it actually comes to the execution, it just doesn't seem to do it. The resolution is far too low. Now look, I can actually focus on the screen. For me, focusing is no issue. It's just the blockiness of the screen itself, which is making it difficult to fly. I can feel it on my nose a little bit. Definitely nowhere near as comfortable as Onways and all those other, I guess, more expensive goggles, but I would say it is more comfortable than some of the other box goggles we've flown, because they feel terrible. Oh, I just lost reception. They feel terrible on your face. All right, let's see how well I can do the track and some acro with it as well. We'll put it through its paces. Oh, into a tree. Oh. Stuck up very high. Oh God.
Oh no.
I just put my Kia up the
What
top
do you
of
reckon,
the tree.
Cal? It's made our day, isn't it?
Well done, mate. Well done.
Good on you, Stu.
Alrighty, so what we'll do, we'll get Grumpy Trev to fly it around, crash test Cal, we'll get their impressions, but first things first, I gotta get my Kia out of the tree. Let's do it.
Look at that. Look where it is. Right in the middle of that tree. About time he got stuck. If you can get up to there, poke it with a stick.
I might, one shot.
Yeah, you don't want to break it though.
You reckon we're in with a chance?
Yeah.
It's got a nice...
A clear shot, but see, everyone just teases us when we're throwing stuff. Look, none of us are quarterbacks out here. We're just a bunch of people flying quads, but we'll see how we can go.
You throw sticks like a girl, Stu.
Let's not be derogatory to genders, Trevor.
See?
Need a woomera, bro.
Yeah.
What we do need, we need a boomerang. And then it would just come straight back to me as well.
Oh, well done.
What was that, Trevor? What was that? Throw number 3, brother!
Yeah, you gotta do it first throw.
Alright, we'll get it stuck again, and then you can see if you can get it down. Let's give it a hover, see how we go. Did we break anything?
What's this wee you are flying it?
Yeah, little props a bit bent. Alright, so let's give the goggles back over to Trev and Cal, see what they think as well. Alrighty, so this is probably a good time to throw in some DVR, and this DVR is quite interesting because this is Cal's flight that I recorded, and we do talk about this at the end of the video when it comes up, but for my reception and when Trevor was flying around, you know, we weren't getting anywhere near the range that Cal was getting, and we flew, this is, you know, on 3 independent quads, and Cal seemed to be the one that was sort of getting the best. So I'm not sure why that is happening and why this channel is getting better reception than the others, and it is specific to these goggles because look, our normal goggles that we're flying with, our Onways and stuff, they weren't doing it. But I guess as far as the DVR is concerned, look, it's nice bright colors, all that sort of stuff. The DVR does its job. Nothing too special, you can't really complain too much, and it is nice for such a budget goggle to be $88. Now anyway, what we should do, that was just a quick squiz at the DVR, but let's hand it over to the grumpy man after I've got my quad out of the tree and see how Trevor goes. Trev, how are we going, mate? What are your first impressions of, look, I'm going to forget the name, but the RG01s?
They look alright actually. I like the finish.
I did change the antennas out as well because
I didn't realise that. Yeah, well, the stick antennas aren't worth a pinch of shit, mate.
Okay.
And can't even pick your nose with them. Look, I like them. So far so good.
What do you think of the form factor?
Yeah, looks nice. I like the idea they got rid of this stupid foam. That's a great idea, this here.
Yep.
So it won't fall to bits. Stick it on and see what it feels like.
Okie dokie. You got your Beta Flight hat on?
Yeah, they feel quite comfortable.
Yep. Have you felt worse goggles?
Oh yeah.
What do you reckon, like out of 10 for comfort wise?
Well,
I guess because having a comfortable pair of goggles is very important. So what would you give it out of 10?
probably, well, they're not uncomfortable. So
Okay. Could you wear them all day?
Probably could. They're not uncomfortable. So I've had ones that I've stuck on, they just crap straight up. I'll let you know after the flight how comfortable they are.
Too easy. All right. All right. How's the picture look?
Well, it's probably just a little not quite in focus for me.
Yep.
Close. So here we go.
Is there any light leakage or anything like that?
You can't really notice it. It is there, but gee, it's like being an IMAX. That picture is humongous. It really,
it's huge.
It really is big. Oh,
what's going on?
Yeah, reception's pretty crap. It was okay until I turned around. Look, picture quality is really crap.
Clarify that for people. What do you mean?
Okay, it's blocky, it's not clear. The trees look like white sticks. A little bit of ghosting on the trees.
Is the resolution making it difficult to see where you're going?
Yeah, reception's really, really average. I really thought these would be great for a newbie, but definitely not. What a shame. These really had potential. The reception on these is terrible.
Yep.
Really is bad. Look, I'm going to come in. I don't think much of them at all. Oh, now I've got a clear picture.
You landed over there.
I can see an ant. They look good. They're reasonably comfortable. I mean, they didn't feel like the other goggles normally feel, those horrible box goggles I've had. But they're just not there yet. They've had a really good try at it, but if you're flying in an open paddock, they'd be okay for a newbie, but hassle with that is, look, if you just wanted to try it and get something cheap to start with to see if you're going to like FPV, they're probably going to be okay for that. Don't fly around trees with them because they're going to drop out.
So what would you give performance out of 10? What's performance out of 10?
Performance is probably about a 5.
Okay. And what lets it down in that respect? Why do you give it a 5? Let's help people make their minds up.
Okay, well, the reception wasn't real good.
Yep.
At all.
Yep. And what about the screen?
The screen was nice and big, but very blocky.
Okay.
Very hard to fly, to be precise. Like I said, in an open paddock they'd be good, but around trees, everything just looked like it had an extra shadow on it, like a little white sort of a ghost.
What about a Grumpy Trev rating out of 10 in terms of value? For 88 bucks.
For 88 bucks, look, that's a bit of a hard one because they will be useful for somebody. But I'd have to probably say about a 6, really.
Yep.
I'm not over. I was really excited about these, but not anymore. They've done a lot of things right. They've really got a crappy receiver in them.
Yeah, I'm definitely I like the form factor. I like the big screens, and I love the price. But if you can't get the reception good and the screens don't have the good, I guess, resolution to actually see, then it's sort of pointless. It's missing on the two most crucial parts.
Yeah. Yeah, you want to be able to see where you're going.
What would you say to the company if they're watching this video? This is what you need to improve. How would you suggest improving it?
I really think they should send out goggles like this first before they release them, so we can tell them what they've got to do to fix it.
Okay, and if they did that now, what would you tell them?
Well, they need better receivers for sure. The screen resolution is just not there.
What I would say, don't even ship it with a receiver module, and or at least give us the option we can just plug our own one in, because you can get some pretty cheap diversity receivers. That should bring the price down even more. Get rid of the antennas, ship it with some better antennas, and the screens are an absolute must to increase the resolution. Even if the price just went up a little bit, say to like an extra to about the $100 mark, but you fix all those things, I think a lot of people would be enjoying this goggle a lot more. Anyway, what we should do, let's hand it over to Cal and see what he thinks.
You reckon they'll fit, Cal?
What, Cal's big head?
If they fit yours, no worries, I'll fall off mine. GoGgle, there I am. Alright.
See they go on your old man eyes. Yeah, you got those things down the bottom.
Okay.
You flying your XJB?
I am. Finding it right from the get-go slightly hard to focus on this.
How does the screen feel? Because you fly the HDV2s. This is Cal's goggles here. They have a massive field of view. What do you think? How's the screen actual size?
Maybe it's just slightly bigger than those. Yeah, but it's more pixelated. It's not quite as clear. I can't quite focus on these, which is disappointing for me. Alright, I'm getting down to the end of the park here. Yeah, doing the normal track, so reception isn't too bad just yet. They're not quite there, are they? A step in the right direction, but I think they need to have some kind of binocular adjustment for focus, if they can do that, because they've got two independent lenses there. It's the only things that I would really criticize this for is not having a module, not having a fan, and being hard to focus. But like I've got old man eyes, I use reading glasses, so someone with young eyes, that might not be an issue at all.
So you're not getting any dropout?
No.
Wow, okay. It could be something to do with the fact that I know in the past one of the Fat Shark receivers I was testing one time didn't like my channel at all, was fine on other ones. So maybe it's got better tolerances for different channels. I don't know. Just a random theory out there.
Scared to do any close proximity because I just can't see any small branches at all. I just cannot pick up that detail. But young eyes, like I said, are probably going to be just fine with this. So look, by and large, it's really not a bad deal for that kind of a price. They're a lot better than the other low-cost goggles, I think. The resolution would probably be acceptable. I wish it was a little higher resolution actually, but the resolution would probably be acceptable if I could get a good focus. But
Okay.
that not being the case, you know, a good focus and a higher resolution wouldn't go astray, that's for sure.
Alright, so give me Cal's famous 4 words. How do you sum these goggles up?
Almost there, but not.
Well done. You're getting better at that, mate, I'm telling you. Alright, no worries. Thanks, Cal.
No worries.
Alrighty, so there it is. There's my review of this sort of Fat Shark box style. I don't even know what class this is. Is it box goggle? Is it Fat Shark style? I'm not too sure. And overall, for 88 bucks, I think I've got to bang on the money, agree with Trev when he said about a 6 out of 10 and a 5 out of 10 for performance and value, because they do so many things right, like the form factor and the price, fantastic. Screen size is massive. There ain't going to be nobody complaining about that, but what they really need to do is we need better resolution, and the reception for me, I know on my Fat Shark channel, and then when Trev flew his quad, because he was flying his quad, it was different, but on Cal's it was fantastic. So that's kind of really weird. What I'm going to do at the end of this video, I'm going to put down when Trev and I were watching sort of Cal's video, and we're recording that as well to see how we go. And I've got to say, on Cal's channel, the reception was pretty good, but it's not good enough to say, you know, that's not okay. What we need the reception to be good no matter what channel you're choosing. So I'm not sure what's going on there with the receiver. I'll leave that up to you. You know, are you willing to take that risk, change your channel, all that sort of stuff to put this into a pair of goggles? Because look, it is only 88 bucks. It's a good starter, but there is some things I would like to change on it in the future. Anyway, what did you guys think? Drop your comments down below. And just a reminder too, look, I want to give this away, and I'll, you know, check those official rules, all that sort of stuff. Make sure you like, subscribe. But I want to please, I'm going to request from the people entering, please, I'd really like to give it away to someone who deserves it. Someone, it will be randomly drawn, all that sort of stuff, but I'd like to give it out to someone who maybe they can't even afford a budget pair of goggles, because I want this to help people get up and get flying. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed that. Subscribe for more FPV related content. Stick around to watch Trev and Cal and myself sort of talk about when we're watching his channel, a little bit extra info. And as always, happy flying. I don't know what's over there. I don't even know what I was looking at. Anyway.
Alright, what are you doing, Trev?
Well, Cal said his reception was pretty good, so I'm going to watch his channel while he's flying it.
Okay, because how was your reception?
It was crap.
Okay.
Well, it's certainly
You getting as many breakups on his
no,
channel?
nowhere near it. But I had little white bits like ghosts on my channel. It is there still. When you go fast, it gets blocky. I can see it now with Cal's as well. So,
but it's better on that one. Can I have a squiz?
it is better.
Can we swap it over?
Yeah.
All right, Cal, I'm on board, brother.
Aye.
You know what? That reception on Cal's channel is okay.
Yeah.
What is this on, Cal? I can actually tell you. I'll press the buttons.
E1.
I'll cycle through. Yeah, it is on E1. So it's working well on the E band. But it didn't like my Fat Shark band. Well, I guess it's working well on E1 because you're like E4, Trev. So,
Yeah,
I don't know, yeah.
I was still pretty crap. A lot of ghosting on mine, which is really annoying.
Yeah, this channel's a lot better, Cal.
Oh, there you go. That's weird, isn't it?
It's strange. So if you do get these, make sure you put what E1 seems to be like a bit of a winner. I know that F1 and F2 and E4 didn't work well. Very interesting. Go behind some of those big bushes.
With Stu.
What?
Go behind the bushes with Stu.
Trevor! Like down low, yeah, down here. See, mine would be completely washed out there, but this is all right. Okay, so that reception's a little bit better depending on the channel.
You still get the little, look at the trees,
Yeah, they're just getting washed out too much for me.
You get little white lines on, don't you?
Oh, I don't.
You can get a full focus, Stu?
Yeah, I can focus fine. For me, the focus isn't the issue. For me, it's more the blockiness when you're going fast and you really need that detail. I'm going to adjust the contrast a little bit.
You still want me to view this?
Yeah, why not? Alright, just go around the trees again, Cal. Alright, I've turned the brightness up. It's a little bit better, but it's still a very, you know, you just don't get the detail that you sort of need in that fast racing. Mate, the reception's crazy where Cal's going.
But it should be good in all of it.
Shit.
Regardless. You'd overflow if you're on the same channel.
Yeah. Alright, thanks, Trev.